Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Alpha Lion Podcast, episode number 2. Um, so we want to launch in to talk about our apparel company, Alpha Lion Apparel. Um, we are still selling the last of our merch, so please feel free to check out the website, alphalionapparel.com. We'll also put a link in the description and follow our social media too on Instagram. So right now we're just on Instagram, but we'll also probably be doing TikTok some point.
Yep.
So we'll be sure to also add that later on once we have that. So yeah, just feel free to follow our social media accounts, and that way you can just get updates. We'll be doing updates here as well, like we're like we said in the first episode. So yeah, just be on the lookout for all that for our new merch that will be coming out soon. So yeah,
Yep. Yeah. So with that being said, what we want to launch into for the podcast is what makes us credible. Are we just talking out of our ass? Are we just starting this podcast to be cool? Like I know there's a bunch out there who do that, and I know if you guys have noticed that. But what makes us different? Like what do you think separates us from the rest instead of just kind of like going on the internet talking out of our ass kind of thing?
yeah. I mean, I think that there's different ways to be credible, and I think there's different ways to for you to want to listen to someone. Of course, there's a generic way of people go through school and they either they get their PhD to become a counselor or whatever.
Yeah.
The one where I feel like I respect people a lot is where they have life experience, and I think that for us that's a lot of who we are, where we've come, and now where we are is because of our life experiences and what we've gone through. And I think that our stories like gives us the credibility because of the things that we've experienced, not only experienced but also like overcame, and the lessons that we learned along the way. I think that
Correct.
that in itself has given us that credibility, and also just like to help others. I think that because of that, like we have some credibility to like really share our stories and potentially inspire people, or even help someone out who like might be going through some challenges, or just struggles that they're currently facing,
Yeah. So,
right now.
what was your unique story? Like from where you started back when you were younger to like now, like the stuff that you went through. Like, what would you say that's kind of been like for you personally?
I mean, yeah, I think for me personally, like I don't think I had the roughest childhood growing up, but I do think that, I went,
It wasn't the
it
easiest.
wasn't the easiest. And I feel that we also went, obviously we're brothers, so we had similar, but obviously we're at different stages in our life, like growing up. So I think that for me, like my experience, like I think that the way I see like our childhood is like it wasn't like your typical, mom and dad. You have everything. Like we grew up not the poorest, but we also didn't have money and neither luxuries. Like I don't remember celebrating, a lot of the stuff like like a kid, like a birthday or a Christmas or a holiday. Like that's like, I mean, yeah, I didn't grow up like in the ghetto or anything like that, thankfully. But we didn't have a normal life, and like I think that from a young age, like I learned how to like look out for myself. Like you were my big brother, so you would look out for me too. But like I think a lot of the stuff I feel like I needed to learn and experience.
Hmm.
Like once again that experience. Um, so I think for me, like it started from childhood, till now, and like I think that I've always like felt like I need to do things on my own.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I just feel that my what was your original question?
Yeah. So like your own personal journey, as like we were talking before the podcast, like
Yeah.
how you started like very like more overweight, very emotional, like more unhealthy, like right the emotional, and then like your journey to like become the man that you are now.
Yeah, so I think like I think as a kid I was a little more emotional like than you,
Yeah.
because like I feel like you were always like that, like more masculine, like didn't care, like more aggressive type, and I was more like a bitch to say. And I didn't like that, I think that it was especially like where we grew up. Like once again, we didn't grow up in the ghetto, but I feel like this, like at least the day and age that we grew up, everybody was tough, a lot of fights, a lot of like tough guys kind of thing. Like if you were weak, you were getting picked on, so like you needed to be strong. And I think if it wasn't for you, I'd be pretty screwed, you know, especially like in middle school and high school.
Yeah.
And so I didn't like, once again, because I felt like I needed to be more self-dependent because of the way we grew up. I didn't like that I needed to depend on you to be looking out for me. Like I felt like I needed to take that initiative. And so I feel growing up, you know, I was like definitely more like the softer kid. But then like coming to middle school, I kind of saw the reality of the world, and it's like if you're not tough, like you have to get tough or you're not gonna make it, you know, or you're gonna get
Hmm.
your ass beat.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was like really overweight, you know, really overweight kid in middle school, and I was like, you know, like I got to get my shit together, I got to get in shape, like I gotta learn how to fight, like I can't just be a bitch my whole life.
Hmm.
And so I really got into that like more like, I guess you could say like that masculine mindset where it's like go to the gym, get in shape, and then go
More
into
aggressive, more
more
rigid.
aggressive, more rigid, and like, you know, football, get into shapes. And it did feel good because I did start to feel a lot more confident. And then did boxing in high school, and then after high school, you know, I really wanted to join the Marines. So joined the Marines after high school. So like definitely kind of kept going to like more like that aggressive, healthy, like not like that, yeah, I guess more rigid, just masculine, you know, just because like I personally felt like I always needed to like look out for myself. And so I was
Yeah.
like, okay, box.
Marines, boxing, football.
Yeah, sorry, the camera just cut off. But yeah, so like, so yeah, you know, joining the military, after the military, kind of getting into like mixed martial arts and stuff like that. And you know, like and it
Yeah, you
was
trained for mixed martial arts for a good 3 years,
three,
three,
four
4 years,
years,
like
yeah, and
solid.
yeah, like pretty solid. You know, like I got up to the level of like competition and everything, and decided that's when I kind of started to decide like to kind of slow my life down. Like I kind of like realized like it's exhausting to always have to be that tough guy, you know? And it's like, I mean, I'm kind of grateful for it
Yeah.
because like now I'm grateful that, you know, I joined the military. I'm grateful that, you know, I did the MMA because it's like it's still a part of me, you know. It's not like it doesn't make up who like I really am as a person, but like I'm also like as a man, I feel like they're good aspects and qualities, but like I also felt that towards like the end of like MMA, I was just like so freaking exhausted all the time. Like I would wake up 5 a.m., go train, go work in construction, get out of,
Cold.
in the cold, yeah, like in Utah, go back to MMA and train. Like I did that shit for months, and like I just was like, what am I trying to prove? You know,
Yeah.
like I'm so fucking exhausted. Like, and like a part of it was because I wanted to be like an MMA champion. You know, like that was my motivation. But then it just came to the point where like I got a really bad concussion because I took a knee to my face, so it kind of fractured my nose. So I had to slow things down, and I think it was then where I was like, "Damn, is this the life I want?" Like it really messed me up, you know, and it got me to think, like I'm not getting any younger, you know. Like I mean, at the time I was 24, but then I was like, you know, I did research on like brain trauma, and I was like, fuck, like this is gonna bite me in the ass when I'm older, and like it kind of does already. Like you know, like I have a bad knee, bad lower back, like a lot of cons came from being that
Yeah.
badass, you know, so to speak. Like it felt good because I felt confident and everything, but at the same time, like it was just too much. It was I overdid it for sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that and so like I think what's helped me a lot is like kind of slowing down and like taking a step back and being like, okay, like I am that person and I don't need to constantly be proving that I am, you know, like I am that. And like I think there's other things I need to focus on too, like my, you know, maybe like my emotional health, my personal health. Like, you know, it's not just about like the exterior. And I think for so many years I was so focused on like I needed to look good, I needed to like be this badass, like I can't have someone else be, but it's like it just puts you in this position where you're just like always on edge, you
Yeah,
know?
and I feel like that's kind of like a big issue with what's going on right now in society. They're just like pushing super hard that they're missing out on everything else and getting themselves into like some trouble and just
Yeah.
injuring themselves or hurting other loved ones, right? Whatever that may be. And I feel like the sweet spot is like where you know you're capable of all those things, but as well having that softness. Like a lot of people think that that softness, the gentleness,
Is
that
weak.
like self care within yourself, just because you're masculine, they may think like, oh, you're a bitch or whatever. But that's not true. It needs to be sustainable. Like your masculinity should just be there without pushing on it, without forcing it, without doing any of that. It should just come naturally. And I feel like that's kind of what we are here to share with you guys, because we've already gone through all that. We've already gone from, yeah, not being, well, I mean, for me, it's a different story, right? But for my brother, like where he just shared, like be more soft, be more emotional, and then just to going really balls deep and just going very
All
disciplined,
masculine
all masculinity. And then, as you can see, that hurt him in the end
in the
of the
long
day.
run. Yeah,
But there were some golden nuggets that he got from it. But now it's like coming back and getting that balance.
balance. Yeah.
So I feel like that's where our true power resides, is having the balance between the feminine and masculine energy. And that's where you really become that powerful person.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you become more like centered because,
Hmm.
and that's the other thing too is like, like for example, like that goal that I had of wanting to become like an MMA fighter. Like I honestly think now like I probably could have and I could have had a better balance, but I think because like I was so focused on just the external, had I just focused the internal more, like I probably could have gone into like taking that career a lot further. Like in the end, I'm grateful I didn't because like now that there are more studies on brain trauma and stuff, like I probably did suffer that. But it's like let's say you do want to be an MMA fighter, or let's say you do want to be in the military, you want to make that a career, or you want to be a boxer, or something that's very masculine.
Yeah.
You're gonna accomplish more by having that balance because okay, like let's say like you sometimes even see fighters where they push themselves too hard in camp, they get an injury. So
Hmm.
now they can't fight, or maybe they have to give up the belt or whatever. So it's like it really does hurt you more. So having that balance of like you said, the feminine and the masculine, even though you want to lead more with your masculine, and that's who you are, and you feel good about that. Like taking the like taking the time to slow things down and be like, you know what, like I'm actually really tired today. Like I probably should just take a break and maybe go to the jacuzzi or just have a fun day. Like not think about that. And tomorrow you're gonna have an even more productive day. And
Yeah.
it's like that balance. I think that I think
And that's what people are kind of like, they feel ashamed of. Like, there's a lot of influencers out there like, oh, stop being a bitch,
yeah.
like don't do that or whatever. Like, but if anything, I feel that makes you more of a bitch, because then like you have this other part of you like telling you what to do, like instead of like knowing what's right for you as an individual. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
that's the
think
bigger default and the
well,
bigger
yeah.
weakness.
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely it gives you more power as a person to like not be influenced by what people are saying or or what they think of you. It's like once again, like the choices that you're making. Like, are you trying to prove something to yourself, to someone else? Like I think that it's good to have goals and to like
Hmm.
be ambitious. I think ambition and goals are really good too. Like I don't want to say that you shouldn't have a disciplined mindset. And sometimes it's appropriate to put your feelings aside and get the job done.
Yep.
In the world of business, in
There's
the
a time
world
and
of
place
fitness,
for it.
there's a
Yeah.
time and place for everything. And of course, like, sometimes you have to work 7 days a week. Even like, just
Yeah,
a
we've
couple
done
months ago,
it.
like we did it for 4 to 5 months, working 7 days a week, but it needed to be done. And so sometimes there is a time and place, but it's like you are aware of that. It's when you
Hmm.
go unconscious and you're not even aware of why you're doing it. You're just doing it because you need to
Yeah,
prove
you just go on
something.
autopilot.
You just kind of go on autopilot. That's where you can kind of like get an injury, push the people you really care about away. Like, like I'm in a relationship. So when we were working 7 days a week, it wasn't because I was trying to push my partner away or ignore her. I made it, I was always very like aware of it, and I would
Yeah,
explain to
it's
her like
bringing consciousness and presence to where you're going
to your
through. Like, even if you're
situation.
going through a shitty situation, where you're bringing more awareness into it, and that's what kind of like helps you navigate through that. But if you go unconscious,
And you're
where,
doing it to push to
exactly,
suppress that.
then that's where you create more mistakes, because
Right.
obviously you're not present in what you're doing currently at the time.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's 100% true, and I think that I think because of social media, it it's like a distortion,
Hmm.
because everything you see, whether it's in movies, whether it's in your generic, like news and media, like television, or like even just social media, they just try to paint the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like even like for example, like the power of manifestation, right?
Hmm.
cool. If you think of something, you're gonna manifest it. Well, I'm sure to some degree that's true, but I also don't think that that's the whole truth, or else we'd all be living the life of our dreams, and none of us would have to do any work for that,
Yeah.
right? Same thing with like success in business. They just show the good stuff. Same thing with like masculinity. Yeah, if you're more disciplined, if you know you eat right and you like stop being a little bitch, so to speak, of course you'll get results. But it's like once again like the intention and where you're coming from. Like, are you doing it with intention, or are you just trying to do it because you feel like you're being a bitch? And like
Yeah.
I've been
Exactly.
there before. Like with the reason why I did boxing, joined the Marines, and all that stuff. Like I just didn't want to be a bitch. And like yes, it was cool, and like now I have cool stories to share, to my kids and grandkids and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it was just hurting me, and I'm pretty sure like now that I'm a dad, like my daughter would rather have a healthy father than someone who's an MMA champion but is just an asshole.
Yeah.
Or in the military, you're this hero, but then you come home and you're a
Mhm.
dick. Like there's like to me that's not being a man anymore. Like to me being a man is being present, being kind to others, like listening to myself, like I
Being genuine.
being genuine, being real. Like I think to me that is more of what being a man is being able to be there for yourself, because then you can be there for the people you care about. And I
Correct.
think that is what the true masculine in man is someone who is present and someone who can take personal responsibility for the things they do. And like the person who's always working and the person who's always pushing, you're also sacrificing a lot,
Hmm.
because maybe you're not giving, your spouse or your family or your kids the attention that they require. And
Correct.
you're not giving it to yourself, so you're definitely not giving it to the people you
Yeah. How
care about.
could you? You
How could
can't.
you? Exactly.
Yeah. So another. What else do we have for the podcast?
So yeah.
So that was pretty much trying to figure out the kind of sharing out with you guys, and hopefully you guys can relate, more relatable, of going from one extreme to the other. Well, that doesn't really work, right? You're too extreme left, too extreme right, and we want to be somewhere in the middle. That's kind of where we get our true power, our personal power, right? So that's kind of why we shared that story. For me, it was obviously a little bit more different. I feel like right from the beginning, a little bit just more aggressive, more not giving a shit. Some of you guys from high school, from the hometown, know me as being the fighter, not giving a crap. If you look at me wrong, the fight was gonna break down. Um, so yeah, and I feel like for me that didn't really get me anywhere. I feel like I was trying to prove something within me as well. I don't feel like you that's the right step to just kind of like looking out for fights, proving that you're tough, proving that you can kick anybody's ass. I don't feel that's the right way to be living in life, because then you can also get yourself in some really bad situations and put your life at risk. So that in itself is not a healthy thing to do. So for me, I was too far right, or whatever you want to call it, too masculine, and now I have to like bring in that more gentleness. And once again, gentleness is not weakness. It's actually a strength, a superpower. Because now, as I look back, I feel more powerful now than I ever have before, because I'm intact with who I really am, instead of trying to portray somebody who I'm not, or trying to be somebody who I'm never going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was very important to kind of be more gentle, be more kind, but obviously not to get it confused with weakness, because I'm still very capable. I know what I can do, I know what I can accomplish, but it's not necessary. I don't have to go out into the world and prove anybody. Like, there's been multiple times when I've been able to walk away from fights instead of engaging. And I feel that is what makes a true man, to be able to walk away from certain fights. And of course, there's certain times where you're not able to, but if you're if you have the chance to walk away, I feel like that's a good thing to do.
Well, yeah, I think it shows once again self control and being the bigger person, and sometimes
Hmm.
that is a quality that is like underrated, is to be able to walk away from something, even though like part of you is like, oh, I'm being a bitch, but it's like, yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, and like I kind of thought of a question I wanted to ask you, like, well, now that you're a father and you have a daughter, like isn't it more obvious the kind of man you want to be? You
Hmm.
know, obviously when like you said, when you were younger, you're more aggressive and like more of that, like you would say, like unhealthy masculine. Like what benefits is there now? Like now that you're a father, like those two different masculines, like how would they express or show in your world now? Like what, like yeah, like for the kind of parent or father you want to be, like how do you think that now translates? Like looking back, like your journey from where you are, and like imagine if things wouldn't have changed, and now that things have changed, like how does it look now, like for you now that you are a dad?
Yeah, well, I feel like for me, it makes you think about your future more. Like you don't want to
Mm,
be just being that person that's always getting into trouble. Obviously, you have your kid, your daughter, or whatever that may be. So I feel like you're more mindful of your choices as
mm,
well. But I feel as well like you want to be that person that can share that kindness, that gentleness with your, especially if you have a daughter, you want to
right.
obviously be able to express that to them, be able to, and obviously still be assertive, be firm. But I feel like that's kind of the new man that I want to be. It's just having that more balance within me.
Mm, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I definitely get that, now that I'm a
Well, now
father.
you just
Now,
recently
yeah,
experienced
exactly.
that, so now you can kind of relate to that.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I mean, I think like I really want to make the point that it's like we're not trying to say that like that masculinity is bad or
Correct.
wrong.
Yeah, that's not the
It's
point here.
because I do think that it's better to be, especially if you're a man, you're a man. I think that you can accomplish more and you can have a better life by being that like masculine. But I think that depending where anyone is in their journey, whether maybe you just found out you're too much of a bitch and you want to be a man, or maybe you just found out that you've been like like the stories we shared where you're too aggressive and too in you're masculine. Like I don't like I think having that like balance is just like there's just so much satisfaction and reward of like I know I can fight.
Yeah,
I
it
know I
gives
can
you
protect.
freedom.
Yeah, I know I can protect my family if I needed to. Like I know I'm that guy. But I also don't need to prove it to anyone. I don't need to like wake up at 4 in the morning and
Yeah,
go work out and then go to the gym, keep doing MMA, like keep being that badass. I don't need to, but if I want to, it's also fun. Like when I get together with my friends and like we go shooting or we go to the gym, like it is fun and it is things that I do enjoy. But I don't feel like I need to prove anything to anyone. And like someone can call me out, I don't give a shit because, like you said, you think about your future and you think about your choices more. And I think that as a man, you have to
hmm
because, and especially if like you're the leader of your family, like if you're not there for them, then who's gonna protect them? Who's gonna look out for them? And it's like to me, like now that I am a father, even before I was a father, like I knew the kind of father I wanted to be. Like I didn't want to be like absent. I didn't want like my poor choices to affect my family. Like I want to make good choices
yeah,
and healthy
exactly. You get
choices.
into some trouble, and now you have to be away for some time, and now you're literally failed at your responsibility of being there for your
Right. And to me,
daughter.
that's being not the man you want to be. I
Yeah,
think
that's a
being,
weaker man right
yeah, I think the stronger man is who can, I think being stoic is like a truer form of masculinity. Like I still think being disciplined is really good. Like, if you want to wake up at 6 and you say you're going to wake up at 6 and you wake up at 6, you
there.
know? Like if you say you're going to do something and you do it, your word, like things like that. When things get chaotic and you keep your presence and you keep your focus and you're not bitching, complaining all over the place. To me, that is more masculine. Like
Yeah, you just get it done.
being able to rein things in and still being able to get things done, being present, being focused. Like the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. And so
hmm
I think that, a true warrior like knows what he's capable of, knows who he is, but just doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. And I think especially for I think like people now like people our age or older, they've probably had a similar experience. But I think now more than ever, like our younger generation, because there's so much into social media, it's
hmm
so far left and it's so far right. Like I mean, there are some really good people out there who are like probably like us who, are trying to
Yeah,
like,
but there's very few of them.
but it's very few of them. And who knows how genuine they're being, they could just be using it as a way to engage people. But, you have to live by example. And I think that for the most part, we're not perfect, but I think we live our lives by examples. Like I think anything we preach, we've to some degree like maybe not quite embodied it, but we do try to hold ourselves to that standard of like being that person, like walking the walk, and like
Yeah.
talking the talk. And so I think now more than ever, it's important, like with social media, like, and like the reason why like we really enjoy like doing these podcasts, like one, we get to talk about our apparel company, which is great, but I think like the deeper and bigger meaning is to kind of connect and help people because like you said in the beginning, like I think our life experience is kind of like it would be selfish of us to not share those experiences because I've even come across like even like close friends or
Yeah.
just someone I don't even know where like they find about my story and they're like,
I
"What?
didn't
Like
know
how are you
that.
doing so good?" Like what the heck? Like, dude, like most people I know who've gone through what you've gone through are like in shit.
Yeah.
Like they're either like alcoholics,
Yeah.
junkies, or just don't do shit with their life. Like the fact that you're doing
Just
something,
dwelling in their depression, their sadness, their
yeah,
pity.
yeah, and it's like I guess like when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like I mean, I guess I just don't think about it because to me, like I've always had that mindset where like once again, like I think I just programmed in myself to like I need to find, some like I need to look out for myself, and I think it's like I think some people just need that extra push and motivation and like guidance. Like I would have like loved to have someone like me in my corner at my age. Like that's what I think about. And so if like, the message we're saying and hopefully we can, reach some people and it helps them, like even if it's only 5 people, like that's the thing about social media. It's about views. Oh, if you don't have 100,000 views or millions of followers, then you ain't shit. And it's like, what about the impact you're making?
Yeah.
Like to me, having the impact of one person versus having a million people just follow me just to fucking follow me and it's not
And
doing
to what?
anything
Yeah,
in their life.
exactly.
Like, what's the point of that?
But to actually have that genuine impact that really alters their reality and
Yeah,
their destiny.
and it, like they listen to something. Maybe not everything that we say or they agree with or whatever, but they listen to just one sentence or one word or whatever or one phrase or one story, and then they're like, "Damn, like I do have to make better choices," and it's like, or maybe like I have to change this about myself, and they do. That's awesome, and I would love to hear about that. Or maybe they just reach out and they're like, "Hey, like I have a question about like I'm currently in this situation, and if I can help them, like I think that's pretty freaking awesome." And I think that's more awesome than the person who's bragging about like all the followers they have. I forgot what artist. I think it's a hip hop artist. And I don't want to quote anyone, but in one of his songs, he says like, "It's like yeah, sure, cool, you sold 50 million records. That doesn't mean that those 50 million people like are genuine or whatever. It just means that 50 million people are like stupid as fuck."
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like I think like not to like talk bad about anyone or anything, but it's like I think like because of the way we've been programmed, like society, like we've been programmed just to follow the shiny, bright, cool object. And that's fine if that's I mean, we're not your crowd if that's what you're looking for. Just a cool, flashy shit. Like I think like the people we want to help are the people that want to be helped. And the people who are starting to wake up and realize that like I want to take control of my life and this part of me or this thing or this addiction or whatever has been taking control of my life. And like, hey, like it seems like these guys have some really cool like wisdom or experience to like share that, like I might really like. And so I think that.
Yeah. Yeah. So another big thing that's going on right now, it's ever since like there's been other influencers talking about like brotherhood, right? I feel like there's a lot of I feel like people get that kind of like once again, I feel like it's not genuine. I feel like it's not authentic. But for us,
It's
ours
just like because it's a trend.
correct. I feel like it's like a trend, masculinity has become a little bit of a trend. Like, oh, it's cool, be tough or whatever. That's why we kind of touch base on like we were showing up this way before social media, way before it became cool, way before it was a trend. Like this is just the way we've been naturally and organically ever since we were young. And another thing is brotherhood. Obviously, we're very close brothers, and at the same time, we also had our issues as brothers, and we would fight. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter that if we
We
didn't get
have each other's
along.
backs.
Like we had each other's back no matter what.
And we don't talk shit about each other.
And we
behind our
don't talk
back.
shit about each other. It's like, yeah, we fuck around. Like, we say
Piss each
jokes.
other off.
Yeah,
like, nobody
piss each other
pisses
off.
each other off more than each other.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, we're like loyal
We're
to
there.
each other. We're there for each other. And I feel like a perfect story just to kind of share of our brotherhood.
I don't know what the fuck he's about to say, so that's why I'm laughing.
Is the one in IV.
Uh,
So I feel like that really reflects brotherhood is when
the chips are down and the weather's
yeah,
up.
exactly. Where the heat's really there. How are you gonna show up for your brotherhood? It can be a friend or whatever, but in this case, it was a friend, a close friend, and my actual biological brother. So back in California,
This
there's
is years ago.
years ago.
And the cops showed up and everything. They took reports, so it's all fine.
Yeah, it's all fine. We were obviously the victims.
Right.
There's no such thing as being a victim,
Right.
but quote unquote victim.
For the sake of.
Yeah, so we were in IV, Isla Vista.
For those of you who don't know IV, it's like a party.
Yeah, it's like a
It's
party
a college
town.
party
Yeah,
town.
back in Goleta, right?
Fuck, and I was like young. We were young. It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. I was in early 20s. Anyways, we show up. Obviously, those of you who know, like, there's like these frat parties or whatever you want to call them. So we show up fairly early, like 9:30 or so. We show up. It was just me, my friend, and my brother, and we're just there chilling. Just it was still pretty calm. But I've noticed, obviously, it was a bunch of frat guys. There was like at least a good 15, if not more, but at least 15. And we were there because our friend used another friend, and he invited us, but we didn't know any of them. We didn't know who they were, and we're just there for a good 20 minutes, I would say. And then there's like scrawny piece of shit comes in. You can tell that he's all
on something.
on drugs. He's just like walks in. He's like like right away. He says, "I want to fight somebody," and he's like,
he's just being stupid. And he picked on our friend because he was wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah, and like he tries dragging him out of the house, and like my friend is just like, "Well, what the hell are you doing?"
He didn't fight.
he didn't fight. He was just like
he's being respectful.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want to just start fighting.
Yeah, it's not our house or anything, right?
But the guy was like very, very aggressive.
Yeah, he's being very aggressive.
So then I think I went and was like, "Hey, like what the hell's going on?"
Yeah, so then my brother goes and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" You know,
I separated.
So he's like trying to separate them.
And we're like, just to kind of give more like details, like
we're like in the
door. We're right in the doorway. You know, like like our friends on this side and the guys over here. I was like, "Hey, like what the hell's going on?" It's like he didn't do anything to you. Like I was just explaining. So then, like I think like a bunch of frat guys like rushed. Like,
whoa! Before that,
okay.
So my friend was pinned by the original guy, and then my brother got in, and then one other guy came and started pinning my brother.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so they were pretty much pinned down, and at that point, it's like, what do you do? Like, they're pinned. I'm free. Nobody's attacking me for some reason. So I'm there analyzing and like registering this, and I had a drink in my hand, and I just remember making the decision. All right, well, we're pinned. We're fighting our way out. Like, even though nobody had thrown a punch, but sometimes, or at least back then, I made the initiation to defend ourselves. So I hit the guy that was holding my brother down, like pinning him. And then as soon as I did that, that's when like all the 15 frat guys like just swarmed us. And we were just...
It was a brawl.
It was a brawl. It was a full-on brawl.
I didn't even know what happened. I just knew that like someone threw a punch. I honestly think that someone threw a punch at me, and that's why you did that. Because I don't, because there's different angles. Like I think someone threw a punch. I don't think they hit me.
Yeah, I think they missed.
But they threw a punch at me, and I think that's when you like push that guy and like hit someone else. But like it just turned into a shit show really quick. Like you said, it was like milliseconds, and so I think that. I remember someone throwing a punch at me.
Yeah.
Like I think I remember like moving or something. But then that's when things.
Yeah, I think you're right. He missed, and that's when I obviously
threw the drink, and then that's when you threw the first punch. But I think someone threw a punch at my face. I remember that. But then after that, I just quickly just fucking brawl,
full on brawl. And then, keep in mind, it's just us three.
Yeah.
too, because our other friend is not very capable. No offense.
He
But
can be.
he
He
can be,
is.
but this, like, I remember saving him a few times, and then my brother. So the point of the story
Moral of the
is
story is we threw down because we
we
had
threw
to.
down because
We
our
had each other's back.
brotherhood was fucking being under attack.
Yeah, if you're in my circle, then yeah, brotherhood. We're biological brothers, so we have each other's back. But if you're in my friend group,
It doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't fucking matter. Like, that's exactly why I got up and was like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's my friend, so you better back the fuck. I think I was being very aggressive. Like, I told him, you better back the fuck up. Like, I wasn't being like, hey, calm down. Like, I was like, hey, like, you fucking started being aggressive, so fuck you. And then that's why probably people thought we're like, I wasn't even fighting though. I was just like, hey, like, fuck.
Yeah, like
Like
calm the
he was
fuck
just trying to
down.
like literally hit my friends. I was like, hey, like calm the fuck down, you know? And then that's probably why someone threw a punch because I was like, I guess I was being aggressive, but because he was the agitator, so I was like, calm the fuck down. But as soon as they threw the punch, then he had my back because he was watching things I couldn't see, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's how it is. And, you know, like we threw down, you know, fucking like 10, 15 guys against, well, 2, 3 of us. I mean, but moral of the story, yeah, I think like we had each other's back and we're willing to throw down. Even like our friend, like he did throw down, and like I couldn't really keep an eye, but he was throwing down, and like I think more than anything, he was just kind of like in shock, which I think we all were.
Yeah.
But I think because the way we were raised, like,
And
we just-
that's what I'm saying again. Naturally, this has come naturally. Like I like all this happened very quick. Like yeah, we're explaining it in a long term, but obviously this happens in like seconds. You need to make decisions in seconds, right? Because obviously your
we
life. Could be
didn't want to fight at
we
that
didn't.
point.
We were chilling.
Yeah,
We were once again the warrior and the guardian. We were just there chilling.
literally having a good. I was having a
No
conversation.
aggression,
Like,
no nothing. But at the same time, you have to be fucking ready. If you need to snap that switch and go to war, you go to war for your
Period.
brotherhood.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter.
that's
And
that,
some of them were fucking had a bat or
yeah, I got hit with a metal fucking bar. I went to the ER.
we have
the
no
next
weapons,
day.
no nothing, just our fucking fists. So it doesn't matter if they have knives, anything. You fucking have to
fucking throw
engage. You
down.
engage.
Yeah.
And that's where we're saying don't get it twisted. Like yes, we
If
can
you
hold.
need to be a fucking man and go to war,
you go to war. That's not our message. Is not to be a bitch.
but
it's
we
to have
also
that
weren't.
balance.
We
Exactly.
weren't the agitators. We even tried to de-escalate, but the
Yeah.
guy was a loose cannon. He was obviously on something.
Correct.
They all probably were.
There was no getting through him.
There was no getting through him, but we've already, you know, we trained. Like I said, I had already, you know, like I had already been working out, training, and like I thought I was getting ready to ship to the Marines. So it's like I was just trying to have a good time, you know, like I wasn't.
Yeah.
No problems. Like we were just chilling at that point, and
Yeah, the cops came. They told us.
they took the
They
report.
took the report. They asked us if we wanted to press charges. We didn't press charges, even though we were fucking attacked on, right?
Like I was hit with a fucking steel bar. Like I had a big ass mark, and they still didn't take me down.
Exactly.
And that's what a real man is when the chips are down, the weather's up, and shit hits the fan. Who the fuck are you really? It's not about being the loudest. It's not about trying to prove anything. Nothing. But when your brother needs you to have their back, or your family, it's like who are you gonna really be? And those moments show the kind of man you really are. Are you gonna be a bitch and not protect your family, or are you gonna fucking rise to the occasion and do what you need to do to protect your family?
Which yeah, because we also have been witness of the other way around, where
People
you
don't.
think somebody has your back and is there for you, and they don't. They cower down because the heat is too strong for them. So that's another thing that you have to be aware of. Like not everybody.
Yeah,
can
just
take the
because
heat.
they say they
Just
will.
because they talk a good game and all this crap, but at the end of the day, they cower down.
And
So
you definitely want to be mindful of who you're surrounding yourself with, and are they actually your brotherhood, and you know, like, are they gonna have your back? And I think that part of being a man is knowing how to because once you become that person, it's easy for you to see who's what, you know, and it's easy for you to spot not that you should not be friends with someone because of that, because you know
just know where to place them in your circle.
Yeah, because you know some people are just not that person, and that's fine. Like you shouldn't hold that person in judgment, but you as a person and you as a man, you need to know who your friends are and who really has your back. Because just like that story, we didn't think that I never would have thought
We weren't expecting
like
anything.
at all. But we had each other's backs, and like it all turned out okay. Like once again,
We
like
weren't seriously injured.
yeah, maybe like a couple scratches and bruises, and thankfully, because I think I think we were still younger and more reckless at that time. But I mean, we're not who we are now. But like we had some training, and like you said, I think naturally we always brotherhood, fitness, working out. That saved our like. That's what I'm saying. I think a masculine is really good, a really good aspect to have because when the chips are down, weather's up. As a man, I'd rather be that guy who can protect myself and my family and learn how to be more soft and gentle, like because that is a skill. Trust me. But I'd rather be that guy than the weak
Yeah.
guy.
So, for example, with that situation, like I would have been very ashamed of myself if I wasn't capable.
Like, what if I just got my ass beat and you just
Yeah,
stood there?
if I wasn't able to protect my brother and my friend, like that
Right.
would have been a very
Yeah,
bad
that would have been a sad story.
Correct. But since we stood our ground, like we did very well against given the numbers that were
A
against
lot.
us. So overall, it turned out into a good situation.
And not that I would want anyone, or not that you should go look for this, not that you
Mhm.
should try to test your friends,
Yeah, exactly.
but
No.
just keep it in mind, like like we live in a world where shit does happen, and like once again, as a healthy man, you never. And I learned this in through my sports and training. Like you never want to look for trouble ever. If anything, you want to try to walk away as much as you can, but
Yeah.
you also can never turn your back on a threat or a potential threat. You always want to keep line of sight. Always. You don't want to just turn and run. And once again, who like the man, oh shit, I'm scared, so I'm gonna turn and run. Now you get fucking hit in the head. It's like you sometimes need to make a decision in that moment. Like, okay, I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm trying to back away. I'm trying to back away. Hopefully they turn away and leave too. Now they're engaging. Okay, now I can do what I need to do. But you disengage as much as you can. You never ever engage. Ever. No matter what you think your training is. Never. If you can disengage and if you can leave, please do. Like, please do. Like, that is not the story here, and that is not the message.
Yeah.
Once again, nothing to prove. I would never in a million years want to be in that situation again. However, I'm grateful that we were able to come out of it and we were okay and safe. Like, had that bar hit my head, like things change and things happen
Quick.
faster than you think.
Split seconds.
So it's like you don't. And once again, the reason why I left the MMA world, the reason why like I didn't want to stay in the military, like I didn't like I value my life, like when you bring more consciousness into your life, the more you realize like
You're more appreciative of
you're
your
more
life.
appreciative of your life, and it's like yes, I'm grateful for the experiences and everything and who I've become and the man I am today. And I understand that some of you are maybe on that boat that you feel like you need to prove something, you need to work out and do all these things, and like I think that's great. You can do all those things. Just don't try to prove anything to anyone. Like have goals, accomplish things. Like I'm not saying don't go to the MMA gym. I'm not saying don't join the military, but just be aware of what you're doing and like do it for yourself. Like don't do it for anyone else. Like and hopefully you're not trying to prove anything to yourself because you have nothing to prove to yourself other than like like wanting to accomplish goals like
and become a better person overall.
and become a better person overall. But like you should never put yourself down and make yourself feel like shit. So yeah, the inauthenticity with the current social media of like stop being a bitch, like blah blah blah. It's like first of all, you're probably a bitch because you're calling someone else a bitch. Because someone who's a real man doesn't call someone else a bitch unless you're joking with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But if your MO is on social media to speak to millions of people, to call someone a bitch because you have a six pack, having a six pack doesn't make you a fucking man. If anything, you could be a little bitch. What really makes you a man is when the chips are down, the weather's up, and who you are and how you show up, that's who a real man is. So all these guys saying that you're a bitch, like, don't listen to them because they probably, trust me, those aren't the kind of guys you want to take advice from anyways.
No, they're just gonna lead you down a wrong path and end up hurting yourself even more so than what you're currently going through. So
yeah, just stay away from them. And yeah, to the younger generation, yeah, do something constructive with your energy. Like I've heard so many positive stories from people who join boxing gyms. Like you do learn
Mm-hmm.
discipline. You do learn that your actions have consequences. Like if you show up late to the gym, you're gonna do some fucking push-ups. You're
You
gonna
talk
bust your
shit to your
ass.
coach, he's
You
gonna
talk shit
smack
to your
you.
coach. He's gonna slap you or put you to spar with someone who is stronger than you, and you're gonna learn your lesson. So I think boxing and all that is great.
Yep.
But then don't be the bully.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go around calling other people bitches because now you feel you're the man and whatever.
Yeah, and once again, I've seen that happen so many times where people are more like weak, right, more little bitchy,
Bitches.
and then
They
they
start
do
boxing.
do MMA or start boxing.
They
I mean,
start.
this happened a couple times with me, and then they try to call me out, and then I fuck them up because they think they're a year or 2 years that there's gonna make a difference in their training, and it's
And it
like
doesn't.
no. So then I have to teach them a lesson once again because
But because they came looking for
yeah, they
it.
came looking for it. They kept calling me out because they felt like cocky or whatever that may be. So yeah, don't be that guy. Like
Just
stay on your path,
yeah,
do
focus
the
on
right
yourself.
thing. Don't go out looking for trouble.
And yes, it's good to have motivation and someone or something to look up to, but just be mindful who you're looking up to. Like even those guys who are, you know, dicks, maybe they do have something of knowledge or something to share, like with fitness. Great. Maybe that's what they're good for, but don't listen to take it with a grain of salt. Like even the shit that we say, like there's probably some things that you don't agree with or don't like, but just take what works for you and drop the rest. Like don't try to be anyone you're not. Like don't
Mm-hmm.
try to like prove anything. Don't try to just to get attention because I think that it's becoming like you're right. Like I think you brought it to my attention because I guess I haven't really been paying attention, but it's like more and more and more influencers are trying to go from like this little bitch to this macho masculine, but then it's like you're not. You're fucking not. And you're doing it to get attention, but you're actually hurting like our younger generation, and that's not cool. So it's like that, and I think that's like, like yeah, like I think that's like the message is like just be aware of like you can like once you earn that, like experience and you hang it like once again you join a boxing gym or MMA gym, you see how those guys are, like the real fucking hitters. Like
Yeah,
same thing in the
super
military
chill.
when the baddest motherfuckers are always the calmest. They have nothing to prove. They won't call you a little bitch. They'll be like, "Come on, dude! Like, let's like." They're the ones who will push you to be better self because they don't want to tear you down. They want to build you up.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the kind of people you want to be listening to. Are the ones who are trying to motivate you and inspire you. Like, oh yeah, you just got a new job. Hell yeah, dude! Like, keep doing better. Like, oh, you started this YouTube channel. Hell yeah, bro! Like, good fucking on you. Like those are the
Mm-hmm.
kind of guys you want to listen to. You don't want to listen to the guys who are calling you a little bitch or just fat all the time. Like I don't know. Like I understand that there's time and place for that, but like if someone doesn't know you and they're just like straight talking shit, like
Yeah.
to me it's just not. I don't like that shit. Like
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
they
you don't
think
fucking know me.
yeah
Like
they think they're trying to like help you out or whatever, but that's not the only way you can help somebody out. Or that's not the better strategy to help somebody out.
yeah, if you really want to help someone out, how about you ask them some questions? Like how about you ask them like some deeper questions, or how about you just get to know them? Like okay, someone's super overweight. Well, maybe there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there is. It's like you think the alcoholic wants to be an alcoholic? You think the overweight person wants to be overweight? You think the person who's living a shitty life with no money in their savings account wants to be
Wants
that
it.
way? Like, come on, guys. Like, let's wake up a little bit. Like, we're here to help each other out, not tear each other down. And I think social media's coming to this place where it was like all about like this wokeness and like wishy-washy, like care about each other, look out for each other. Like yes, I think that's a really good message, but I don't think it's genuine enough. Like I think like we need to come to a place where like we should be looking out for each other, we should be lifting each other up, like one person to another, like from brother to brother, from sister to sister. Like it's not about the masculine over the feminine or men over women. It's like we have to come to this place where like we're there for each other. Like women have their
Overall,
role,
yeah.
men have their role, and like not to say that maybe a man is more fat, and that's the thing. Like not every man is gonna be very masculine. Like some
Some lead
man.
where they're feminine, and that's fine.
And that's fine because those are the kind of guys that create really awesome films, actors. Like they still give to the world. So it's like, why is that bad? You know, it's like not everyone's gonna be like a macho gunslinger, badass kind of guy, and that's fine. Like they have their role. Like what? So now they're just a bitch because they're not that. It's like, come on.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's right.
Well, I think we've kind of gone off. We yeah. I guess just to kind of wrap up. Or do you want to wrap up? What's your final?
Yeah, so that was just kind of the purpose of this episode to teach you the balance of masculine and feminine. Obviously, we have those two energies within us, like whether you like it or not. So it's just kind of balancing those two energies, and obviously, which one are you going to lead with? For us, we're leading with our masculine because we do thrive better when we lead with our masculinity. But having that balance and
Well, and also like the healthy
correct,
masculinity.
yeah, correct, the more healthier one. So that was kind of like our message here, masculinity and like what we're about, what gives us that credibility. Are we just talking out of our ass? Are we just here to get likes or whatever that may be? That's why we want to share some personal stories of our upbringing and what we've gone through. Maybe that helps you become a little bit more relatable to you guys. And it gives you a better understanding of what we want to do out here in the world to help more people. So we'll share more stories as that as well. That way you guys can get to know us a little bit better.
Yeah.
Brotherhood, once again, is very important to us. The right kind of brotherhood. So yeah, those are a few topics that we kind of want to dive in, and we'll continue to keep going deeper with certain topics and different ways of that you can be transforming yourself as well.
Yeah, because I think, yeah, I mean, definitely another conversation for another time. But I think that on the deeper stuff, yeah, they're like we have a lot to share as well. Like how we've actually
Transform.
transformed and gone from that more unhealthier masculine to like healthier and having a balance in our life. And I think that yeah, maybe like on the next episode we can
Yeah,
cover
we
some of
can
that
chill.
where some of the things we've learned and the teachers we've come across and how they've helped us. And but yeah, I think for now we'll kind of just let it be
Yeah, yeah. This is a
for what
good
it
time to
is.
wrap up, and
But yeah, but thanks again, guys, for the support. We really appreciate it. Once again, feel free to follow us on Instagram for Alpha Lion Podcast, Alpha Lion Apparel, and yeah, give us share, like, comment, subscribe.
yeah, we'll
Um,
appreciate the support. That way we can
keep
obviously
growing,
keep
keep helping out.
growing,
Because at
keep
the end of the
helping
day,
out.
that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to spread peace and love, not in that weird wishy-washy way, but yeah, like let's look out for each other. We're trying to grow a community of bringing people together instead of tearing each other down and separation. There's enough of that on the planet. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, help us join this like mission of like bringing more people together and helping raise each other up. So yeah,
Yeah.
thanks again,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Take care. Oh fuck, I turned it off.
You turn it off.
Fuck, how long was that? It wasn't recording.
No.